The Missing Element in Trump's Grand Plan for Gaza by Michael Medved. Donald Trump sustains unshakable confidence in his peerless persuasive powers as the supreme salesman of planet Earth. But the outlines of his new deal of the century regarding Gaza's future offers reasons for skepticism and resistance from all parties involved. In presenting the plan during a joint press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the president pointedly ignored the most obvious and important obstacle to any progress for peace, let alone the hopes to develop the blood-soaked real estate as a Riviera of the Middle East. Mr. Trump never cited the evil and sadistic killers of Hamas, who maintain significant influence in the Strip. Nor did he even once mention the deadly Iranian fanatics who continue to sponsor terrorism throughout the region. Instead, Mr. Trump repeatedly described the unspeakable suffering of Gaza's population as the result of cruel fate, a cursed location, or bad luck. He declared,
I also strongly believe that the Gaza Strip, which has been a symbol of death and destruction for so many decades and so bad for the people anywhere near it, and especially those who live there, and frankly, who's been really very unlucky. It's been very unlucky. It's been an unlucky place for a long time.
In this description of the area's recent history, Mr. Trump utterly neglects the 38 years of growth and progress that Gaza quietly enjoyed during the time that Israel directly controlled the area between 1967 and 2005. Far from a symbol of death and destruction, the Strip under Israeli occupation experienced some of the most conspicuous population growth in the entire Middle East. From 394,000 at the beginning of Israeli administration at the conclusion of the Six-Day War to more than 1.3 million when the government of the Jewish state tried misguidedly to encourage the emergence of a peaceful, viable Palestinian state by evacuating all troops, police, and settlers from the territory. This unique population growth corresponded directly with Israeli rule, incontestably conflicting with charges of genocide against Israel. Those decades point instead to a unique span of economic dynamism and improved public health. According to UN figures, Gaza struggles with a life expectancy of 53.42 years when Israel took control from Egypt. But the number improved to 72 years by the time the Israelis turned over the enclave to the local Palestinian control. That number has ceased its steady and dramatic improvement since the Hamas takeover in 2009. Why did Gaza, for all of the painful elements of its history, flourish while Israel administered the territory? In a useful summary offering a brief history of Gaza's 75 years of woe, Reuters news agency writes, with the Egyptians gone, many Gazan workers took jobs in the agriculture, construction, and service industries inside Israel, to which they could gain easy access at that time. Israeli troops remained to administer the territory and to guard the settlements that Israel built in the following decades. That relatively positive period gave way with the emergence of Hamas, described by Reuters as part of a reaction to a traffic accident in which an Israeli truck crashed into a vehicle carrying Palestinian workers, killing 4 of them. Seizing the angry moods, Reuters writes, the Egypt-based Muslim Brotherhood created an armed Palestinian branch, Hamas, with its power base in Gaza. They recalled, Hamas, dedicated to Israel's destruction and the restoration of Islamic rule in what it saw as occupied Palestine, became a rival to Yasser Arafat's secular Fatah party that led the Palestine Liberation Organization. Eventually, with the Israelis giving up any claims to Gaza or presence in the territory, the Hamas militants, classified as terrorists by the United States and the European Union, took full control of Gaza in 2009 with a brief but bloody civil war against the Palestinian Authority. The major split between the two embattled factions involved the implacable opposition by Hamas to the Oslo peace process or any other form of accommodation to Israel's existence. President Trump's rambling remarks about his hopes for the United States to take possession of the Gaza Strip, which he also described as a hellhole, leaves some doubt as to his familiarity with any of this history. He cheerfully explained his vision of the immediate future.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area.
He failed consistently to focus on Hamas and their Iranian sponsors, whose continued existence remains even more dangerous than, quote, unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, end quote. No progress can be made toward the construction of some glamorous new resort that will attract pleasure-seeking vacationers, while toxic terrorist ideology dominates the thinking of the Strip's population. There will be no joyous new life for Gaza as long as local leadership continues to concentrate on death and puts its top priority on the murder of the 8 million Jews who live and thrive next door.